So, welcome everyone. We are very excited to have you all here. My name is Yael Ophir. I'm the Executive Director of Health IL. For those who don't know what we're doing, we're in the healthcare ecosystem in Israel, a national project backed by several governmental offices. And our mission is to support innovation and transformation in the health system and in the Israeli health tech ecosystem. In the last few years, doing extensive work in connecting also the Israeli ecosystem to other ecosystems, especially in Europe. This is for us a very unique project, and we want to highlight the other partners in this project, which is ICERD, which obviously will also present themselves very soon. We have Nati and Bachi. On our side is also Eliana, that will also talk a bit ahead about the project and the health cluster under the National Program for Economic Growth, which probably some of you have met, Adas Klein. Really a big thank you for from the Foreign Trade Administration, and also for Omer from the the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and all of you are joining us. And I think this time especially, this project is crucial, and we really wanted all of you to be involved and join forces together with us to support the best matches and collaborations of top Israeli healthcare related entities with top European institutions, in that case in Horizon Europe. I think it's important every time, but especially in these times. So just to show you what are we going to discuss this short webinar. So welcome and context. This is me to explain briefly about the project and then to go deeper about why are we doing this, the Horizon Initiative, the specific goals that we're aiming to, and really how we can collaborate together with you so we get the best results to the support of the Israeli European ecosystems. And then really open for Q&A. You can also put it in the chat whenever, raise your arm, and we can, for clarification, especially if it's a clarification for a specific slide. We promise that besides just the recording, we're going to have really clear packaging after this webinar. We send everything by email. Will be very clear, and a lot of things that you can use to support this project. And thank you again for this. So why are we actually doing this project, and why now? You'll hear a bit more about Horizon Europe, really a large scale project with plenty of fundings, and Israel is a major also country in this. Now, we are very good as the Israelis in individual competitions, which means that we are really good in utilizing the individual cause of Horizon, but where the big funding is and the collaboration benefit is, which is the consortium part, which I guess Nati and Bachi will explain later on. These are the more tricky parts, and we really want to enhance collaboration and also support of funding of Israeli entities and in collaborating with European entities and in different countries. And that's why we built a construct that will allow to the Israeli ecosystem to collaborate, and we really need your side now in putting our efforts and finding the best European contacts. Now, this is how basically this entire project was constructed, and basically what we have been done so far, as to mark the most relevant calls that we know that are going to be out really in the next few days. We already mapped the relevant Israeli organizations for each one of the calls that are relevant and seeking collaboration. And now, I guess one of the most important parts is actually to find the relevant entities in Europe which are keen to collaborate, and we can offer them a variety of really top-notch organizations to collaborate. So this is just really a quick overview, but I think this time I will hand over to Iser. Just correct me if I'm wrong, right? And then the floor is yours. Is it Bachi?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Yael, and for this really great opportunity. I'm really happy to be here. So, hello everyone. My name is Batzion, and I manage the health sector in Horizon Europe in the Consortia program here at ISER, the Israel Innovation Authority. As Yael said, why Horizon Europe? Why is it interesting for us? So, as you can see, Horizon is EU main funding instrument for research, including healthcare, which is one of the most strategic pillars, as you would see, especially budget-wise. While there's a strong interest globally, navigating the system and successfully joining consortia can be complex, especially for a non-EU stakeholder like Israel. You can move on to the next slide, please. Yes. So, what is it in for the participants? So, as you can see, first of all, the budget is massive, with funding rate covering 70 to 100% of total project cost, and in some cases, even an extra 25% overhead. And additionally, of course, there's an amazing opportunity for collaboration and to penetrate the European market, I mean, for Israelis. And and also the researchers or the developers don't have to give any of the funding back. There's no royalties, and that's also an important part of it. And yeah, of course, the global collaboration opportunities and learning from each other, sharing knowledge and sharing technologies, and answering the most important challenges that we're facing globally. You can move on to the next slide. Okay, so who can participate? So of course, EU member state can are part of the program, and additionally, non-EU member states can participate based on governmental agreements. And in fact, Israel was the first country to join as what we called a associated country outside of the EU member state. We joined it in 1996, and since then, many countries have joined. Recently, Canada joined, and South Korea. And it's important to understand and to know which countries can participate so we can make more precise connections and help the different entities collaborate. You can move on to the next slide. So here you can see an overview of all of the Horizon Europe programs. It's they're actually separated into three pillars, each with a different focus. The first pillar is more for academy, it's excellent science and academy. The pillar three is it gives an emphasis more on innovation in industry, and we're going to focus on the second pillar, and of course on the sector health. You can move to the next slide. Great. So the second pillar, what is extraordinary about it is that all of the calls, first of all, you can see that it's the calls are a variety of thematic areas, as you can see, and all of them you need to submit them in a consortia. So pillar one and the pillar three, you can also sometimes just participate by yourself on different programs, and here you have to have a consortia. You can move to the next slide. So, what are the conditions to build a consortia? So you have to have at least three entities from three different countries, and one has to be a member state, at least one. Of course, you can have more, and you can join a consortia as a participant, or you can be the coordinator, which is, I guess, the entity that is in charge on the budget, on the tasks, and also he's in charge in front of the EU. Um, yeah. So, the timeline for the calls and why we're doing that, we're happy to meet you now, is that actually the timing is playing a crucial factor here. So, as you can see, the calls have been published. We're standing now in May. The calls have been published, and the deadline for submission is September. So it's 4 months, something like that. And many consortia will close partner selection very soon, and we want to move forward and work fast. And this is a window to shape the proposal, to join the table, and ensure Israeli voices are part of the innovation programs. So that's for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bachi, and also just to say that really to emphasize that the time frame is very short, so it's a very specific moment between the call was launched, so until the time that they close the partners. I guess it's about like a month and a half. By the end of June, most like 95% of the partners will be already the consortiums will be assembled. That means that we have a very short window to reach out and find the relevant organizations to connect with. Eliana?
Hi. So I just wanted to talk through what our approach is and how we're going to be connecting the Israeli ecosystem with the EU. So we've taken a quite hand-on curated approach to the matchmaking. We've started by launching an onboarding form for the Israeli stakeholders. These include startups, hospitals, research, academia, and we really wanted to try and understand who's interested, what topics they align with, and what kind of partners they need. We're then using this input to build, and we have built a searchable database that we can use to match against the European stakeholders. This lets us approach potential partners in a way that's targeted and relevant, not just for the general call itself. And when we're reaching out to the EU partners, either directly or through your help, we're not just asking them to include Israel, we're offering them clear value. These are Israeli participants that have been vetted, that align with the calls and have tech expertise and clinical access and strong innovation and capacity. This means for you, when you approach the local stakeholders, you have a concrete opportunity to co-develop strong, focused consortium. So if you move on to the next slide. Thank you. So alongside with the Israeli onboarding that I previously mentioned, we've also begun mapping out a preliminary list of relevant EU partners. So this includes clusters, hospitals, research institutions, and networks that we believe could be strong partners in this year's cycle. We'll be sharing this list with you after the session, and we'd love to hear your input. Just if there are partners on the list, you know personally or have access to, and are we missing any key players from your country or ecosystem that you think we should add? The next step is to actively engage these partners, ideally through intros through you. And this is how we're going to move on from the research, the relationship building, and from the long list to actual consortia. So as previously mentioned, this year we're honing on a few specific Horizon Europe health-related calls, and I'll move on to Bachi to explain those.
Actually, I will be doing that. So, hi everyone. I'm Nati Bloch Damti. I'm the Senior Director for the Life Science Department at ISERD, which is the Israeli Registrar for Horizon Europe. We're the official representatives of the Horizon Europe program. And our department, Batzion and my department, are actually dealing with consortia only. That's why we're focusing on those. I just want to emphasize that the reason that we're reaching out to you is as potential partners that could really do the reach out to find the best European partners. At these difficult times, I think science diplomacy is the most important thing, or economic diplomacy is crucial for Israel, and it's not an easy task in regular days to find the right partners, especially now. So your help is very much appreciated, and I will dive into the calls. I just wanted to say that if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, we are Betsy and me. We're here for you. You can, and also Liana, of course. If you have any thoughts, any questions, we're here for you. Just we'll give you our details or email details. Of course, we'll share with you the presentation itself for you to review. So feel free. And as Yael said, it's quite a short time. The summer is coming, and we need to try and find this consortia as soon as possible. So please to the next slide. So we actually focus on several topics, which are actually for the best potential for Israeli participants. And I'll just briefly go through them. You don't need to get all this information. It's just for you to get like an understanding of approximately what we're dealing with. Why did we choose them, and what are the topics? So the first one, for me, it's the most important one. It's the mental health one. It's a single in the program. There's a single call on mental health issues that we're also ISRD. We're actually promoting this one with the help of the Innovation Authority, specifically on PTSD. As you know, the Israeli society has been devastated from the war with a lot of with an overwhelming increased amount of PTSD and related mental health problems. So we're doing an extra effort on this one. The idea here is it's not only mental health, it's also, as you can see, this includes also behavioral and neurodevelopmental disorders. And the idea is to create unique and highly innovative approaches for diagnosis and for treatment of those ailments. They want in this scope to also include existing data and databases. They want to involve public health authorities and national regulators. This is just to give you an idea of what we're actually looking for. Okay, and in this call, there is a very large amount of innovation in Israel regarding mental health and PTSDs, and specifically the need arose, and there's we created a lot of innovation and entrepreneurship in Israel on this. So, and these are what we're looking for. To the next one, please. Next slide. So this one is specific for generative AI. There are two calls that are specific for health and generative AI. And in this one, the requirements for this call is to create an AI application-driven healthcare solutions that so the solution would interact specifically with the AI systems with a demonstration of the clinical value and benefits of AI solutions in at least two health use cases, using open source solutions, and also in this call, the collaboration with the regulatory bodies is highly recommended. Next one. This third call calls another call on an AI, and this is specifically for the applicability of generative AI on the biomedical research to demonstrate feasibility for two use cases to prove the scientific added value compared to existing methods in collaboration with medical information institutions. It's to developing or updating methodologies to assess suitability and usability, defining added value of biomedical research, including clinical benefits, reliability, and safety. And again, using open source solutions and global standards to create those AI solutions. This is, please to the next one. This is a different facility. Yeah, this is a whole different field of expertise. This is for calling for multinational clinical studies on rare diseases, and they're looking for specific medical devices or medical technological solutions specific to those rare diseases. I just wanted to emphasize on this one, I'll talk about the advantage of is the Israelis as potential partners for such calls. On this call, specifically, as I mentioned on the mental health one, for this call, there is an abundance of genetically rare diseases in Israel, specifically in the south of Israel. So Israel is a very, very unique potential clinical study field for this specific call. So it calls for collaboration with also with social sciences and humanities experts. So this will also be relevant for those in Europe. Demonstrate clinical added value, including quality of life, speaking of social sciences. And they also want to create a multinational regulatory strategy on those rare diseases. So there's a need for multinational studies because of the rarity of the population, and it is very difficult to find robust data system for the rare diseases. So this is why a multinational call is specifically on this call. Next one, please. This is the third artificial intelligence call on the pandemic preparedness. The aim is to develop AI tools to create and enhancing AI based on epidemic and healthcare system responses. Data utilization is needed here. They want to leverage the data infrastructures, the existing infrastructures, to use for using the artificial intelligence. Also addressing cybersecurity, data privacy, and interoperability for these studies. This call is engaged together with the newly funded, co-funded partnerships on pandemic preparedness. I think we can go to the next one. So now we're just giving like a brief overview of there is within health cluster one, there's also a specific mission on cancer. And here we're just giving the four research innovation topics within the cancer mission. So we're not going into depth of those, but it's just an overview of the different specific fields that are available there. And Israel has a very strong oncology research infrastructure. A research, so this is a very good opportunity for all of the Israeli researchers. So the first one specifically on their environmental exposure and risk on pediatric and adolescents, young adult cancers. The second one, speaking of surgery, more medical device for multimodal therapeutic intervention benefits cancer patients. We have multinational early stage innovation clinical trials on pandemic pediatric cancer. You see the two calls on pediatric cancer here. And then the last one, hold on, the last one is pragmatic clinical trials to enhance the quality of life of older cancer patients. We're not going to go into depth, but you can see the broad spectrum of different research opportunities within the oncology field. So if we go to the next slide. This is just a brief overview. We'll send you the slides. You don't have to remember anything from this. And the idea is to what types of partners are actually looking for these calls. So specific to the cause, of course, and the thematic fields, but basically we're looking at the strength of the European community is on very large clinical facilities, hospitals, to conduct the clinical trials. That most of the calls involve in databases and clinical trials. There's a huge amount of research, very large research institutions in Europe, and they could provide research and technology infrastructures for the calls and also a great depth of knowledge there, depending on which research institutions we're dealing. Is it more fundamental research or applied research? But Europe has all of these, and if you just think about the country that you're in, or that you represent, then this could be very relevant. If you can think about who could be relevant for this, of course, universities, medical and health, social sciences, artificial intelligence, all of these thematic research fields for universities as well. And notwithstanding in industry partners, we're speaking about medical device, pharmaceutical, imaging industries and companies. There are a lot of them in Europe, and they could be great partners to join such cause with an specific interest in the specific fields, be it oncology, be it AI, be it rare diseases, medical devices. We have the range of opportunities with the cause at hand. And of course, public bodies, depending on the call, but there is a lot of need for regulation and policy creation in these calls. And those European regulatory bodies are very welcome to join these calls. I think they have very strong capabilities that we could use with the Israeli partners. Any questions up until now? Are there any questions in the chat? Eliana or Etzion? Or you can just open your mic and ask the questions. I mean, just feel free. It's a small crowd.
There's no new questions in the
Okay.
A question
chat.
from my side. It's not really a question, but a request, because I know that you also did a research about the previous consortium. So if you can send, when you send all the materials also the list of previous consortiums so our audience can also connect them because we know that once they participated in the past, they're more likely to participate in this one as well.
Okay, and also thanks Eve for mentioning this, because also as we are the Horizon experts, so to speak, we have every week on every Sunday between 9 and 10 in the morning, we have a live webinar that you can give in a deep dive into Horizon Europe opportunities. And if you'd be interested, we'd love you to join this. We will send you also the link to the weekly Zoom. So this is a good opportunity to really get a more deep dive understanding about all the different opportunities and the programs, the history of consortia that were built. All the information is there with us being there with you on your questions.
Nati,
okay, so yeah,
I was thinking maybe if we have like a minute just to explain maybe how does the consortium looks like
yeah, but let me first just finish up why Israel. I mean, when you reach out to the specific potential partners, I just want to have like a short overview why Israel. I mean, it's not obvious these days, but Israel has a very, very strong medical industry, research and industry partners, and these are just a few of the value proposition that the Israeli partners could provide for such consortia. There is a very strong medtech and hard tech industry, high tech industry in Israel. We know we're the high tech nation. This is just medical industry is in particular is strong in Horizon. When looking at the consortia, the Israeli consortia, the history of the Israeli consortia, health is the strongest. So we have a very strong and stable. I mean, we even through 23 and 24, the medtech industry and research of Israelis has shown very to be resilient to the changes, the political and the war changes. So it's a very good opportunity there. We have a very good accessibility to data. The regulatory frameworks are more enabling in Israel, as well as the data sharing and the data accessibility, including imaging information, clinical information of patients. Israel has been is known to be very lenient towards the data accessibility on the medical fields. We have a very collaborative culture, working to universities with hospitals, with it's a small country and it has its advantages. And this is something we really see in Israel, that collaborative culture of working together. And also the regulatory support. Just an example, the Israel Innovation Authority, one of its main pillars of efforts is to remove barriers, among them also regulatory barriers. And we're putting a large effort and support to remove or to address, to understand the barriers, to address them and to remove them. So it could be a very good site to evaluate the regulatory barriers and removal mechanisms. Entrepreneurial spirit, I don't need to go into depth about this. Israelis tend to be very open-minded, very agile in their innovative spirit. And I think this is world known. And also research excellence. I mean, the Europeans are excellent researchers, but we're looking at ERC, for instance. It's another academic program within Horizon. Israel is one of the strongest countries. Despite its small population, we're very strong researchers. So there are a lot of value propositions to provide to potential partners. And it's important that those are addressed. If you have any questions, as I said before, please feel free to talk to us and we will try to filter out the best potential partners in Europe.
So, yes. Go to the next slide.
Yes,
Perfect. So now to connect this to like the project and what our aims are. For now, at this certain point, we have a strong base. We have a list of Israeli stakeholders that are really, really wanting to be involved in this project. And we also have a preliminary set of relevant EU partners. So this is through research that we have done, looking into databases, organizations in Europe who have previously been successful in Horizon Europe. So the next step in moving from mapping to action is deciding who to approach for which cause and how to connect them. We will share a full list of the EU organizations divided by country that we have identified after this session. And what we need from you, as previously mentioned, is to approach these European partners if they're within your region or your network and help us make a connection. As well as if you see any gaps or know of a local partner who's growing a consortia, let us know and we can add it to the list and we can approach them. So now I'm going to pass over to Yael to wrap up and open the floor to questions.
So thank you, Eliana, and everyone. I think that it's a good now time to maybe clear up some questions asked. So I think that the first part is Bianca was I think referring to is that we are actually not in this stage. We're not looking to establish new consortia. It could be happening, but we are trying to the Israelis to join existing consortia. We are if we look at the history of organizations joining like Horizon collaborations, we see that they can start with a small collaboration, at least, for instance, be part of like a 20 partner collaboration, and then gain more and more understanding and also reputation. And then it's kind of a very good positive feedback loop. So once you win a consortium, you get into the ones that are like get more and more applications and being part of a consortium. So this is important, and then we also try to highlight it to the Israeli side that they know it's a first good step to be part of. And just for you to know that there are already like a very strong consortia that are really submitting year after year, winning, and that's to find the ones that are like constant winners. Once Israelis can join this consortia, their like success rate is massively higher. Like what would usually be is like only a 3% success rate, but if we join good ones, the application, the success rate will be massively higher. So, but just saying that, this is basically what was the list that was pulled of already applications that won Horizon. But just to say, you don't need to pursue only the, I don't know, 5 to 10 organizations within your country, but it could be that others are planning to apply, and it doesn't mean that only big ones win. So really try to think, as Nanti mentioned, different organizations, to reach out to them, ask them what are they planning to submit, and then based on that, try to match the relevant ones. Now, when I'm saying, and we're saying there's a database, it's about 150 organizations. We will send you the specific, just for you to know, the specific type of organizations per which is, again, very good numbers that will really allow us to work with you and the EU partner to classify the ones who can be the best match around this and to work with you. I will just add the database of the applications, because it's a first time. I hope that the next years we can have like this kind of an open database that every one of you that talking to different organizations can offer this kind of a match. But since it's just the first kind of a pilot, we would the beginning do this kind of a bridging. So let's say you talk with the organization, you understand what they want. We can have, even if you need a discussion with the organization, and help you provide to them a short list of relevant organizations target to their needs. So this is like, and for that also, don't worry, we already prepared a few questions that can help you to ask them the relevant questions of a specific call, and also kind of an intro mailer for you to use or not, just at your disposal. So as I was saying, remember, it's not just the specific ones that are listed. This is like something that should help you, but if you have others, go ahead. And we are here either to clarify the different calls or help you with understanding the match and support you, throughout the day. Even one or two, if anyone on this call will get one or two leads, will be in a very good shape in like 2 months. So really, we're here to help. Any other clarification from the team, or if you have?
Yeah, I would like to mention two things. The first thing is that what we in ISRA do a lot of the times, if there's a strong potential partner that has a specific interest in a specific call, let's say a research organization in France that is interested in orphan devices for the rare diseases, for instance, what we always say, the message that we convey is, tell us what you need, and we'll find you the Israeli partners. And now with the platform that was established by the Health AI organization, we have willing, engaged, capable partners that was the quality group of a long list, which is actually a short list of what is in the market that we can help. So we can, for instance, help you find those organizations, the Israeli partners, and have like you can have some kind of webinar with them that all the Israeli partners would present what they can offer for this specific call. That's something that we can that we can help. I just want to have just 3 minutes to explain what a consortia is, because it's not easy to understand. So a consortia means that there is, as Betzion has mentioned, three specific partners from at least from three entities from three different countries, and one of those countries has to be a member state country. The rest could be either associated countries or third countries such as the US. Each consortia, usually the consortia is composed of at least 6, 7 partners, sometimes 10, sometimes 20. It really depends on the scope of the call, a call topic, and it depends on the partners, and it depends on the budget. So usually those are large, but we're looking at like creating like the basic scaffold of between the bilateral collaboration between the specific partner in Europe and the Israeli entities, and then from there you can build a whole complete consortia. Usually the Europeans are the coordinators in such a consortia. The coordinators are very specific role that is needed for the consortia, and Europeans tend to be very strong coordinators. And you need a lot of different entities to joining to fill up the whole scope, so that the chances of the proposal to win the budget is improved. That's all I want to say about this.
Maybe just to add here, just because I saw like now when I removed the slides, I can see, the different origins. Don't assume that only the big countries are the ones who, are the proficient ones, because I see Athens, for instance. So Greece are also very good in building consortia and applying. So again, in every country, you have ones that are involved and very good in this. We will also add some work we've done that could be also good for you in other terms, which really highlights the Israeli health tech ecosystem benefits. Just tapping on what Nati's slide was about. So you can have numbers, and it could be really of value for them, for you, either on these calls or other calls regarding health. So this will also be at your disposal, and feel free to use it. Now, questions?
It could be on Horizon, on what a consortia is and what your role is and what the calls are, just whatever you want to ask. This is the time. Don't be bashful.
I think I would ask the trade officers, not if now, but maybe on an email to share with you, because I got some feedback that it is challenging to approach European partners and receive from them. Like to work on Horizon is a little bit of a struggle. So I think that what I want to check with the audience or later with the trade officers is what were their challenges, and maybe if there's anything that you can help them with approaching the companies or the organizations.
Just to say here that I think, first of all, maybe Nati can share a bit about the Fraunhofer example, for instance, because we are engaging several organizations. Also, Eliana is in contact with a few, even given the fact that, maybe we can all feel it's something maybe more tricky, but again, we have some examples here.
Yeah. So, firstly, I just wanted, there's some question from Jenny Bossi. Are the
Yeah,
consolidated companies and startups administered to run? Yes. Any legal entity can join a consortium. I mean, given that it is relevant for this called scope, but it could be an NGO, it could be a public administration, it could be researchers, it could be industry, it could be startup, SME, whatever. They can all join consortia, depending, of course, on the scope of the call. Yeah.
To clarify here, so we're really not trying to push now consortia led by Israelis just to join like an existing assembled consortia.
Yeah, so and as I said, I just give an example. We just in June of last year, we had a delegation that I've joined to Germany, and we went all over. We met Helmholtz and Fraunhofer and Jülich. We went in Jülich, and we were in Max Planck in Munich, and we visited a lot of academic centers and research centers. And with Fraunhofer, for instance, in Stuttgart, we reached out to them and said, well, just tell us. We visited them physically, and we said, well, just tell us what are the calls for the 2025 program that you are going to apply for. And Fraunhofer are extremely active in Horizon. And we had a webinar with them that they presented a specific call that they were interested in, and we gave them the Israeli value added proposition that they had missed from their part, and it was a very successful webinar. Hopefully, we'll finalize into a consortium, but it seems to be this way. So, just as we do with Fraunhofer and with Helmholtz, we would love for you to think with us who could be the potential partners within the countries that you are delegating Israel to, or the other way around, because there are also delegates of the European embassies in Israel. So whatever you think is suitable, we would love to have a discussion with you, a dialogue, and think together how this could happen. I don't understand, Giovanna, that you said that Israel warns about the specific calls. Could you just maybe open your mic and ask the question aloud so we understand it, Giovanna?
Hi, yes, yes. Hi, I'm Giovanna, based
Hi.
in Milano. No, thank you. Everything is interesting. It's not new for me because in the past I used to support Italian entities with Israeli partners for Horizon, though seldom. But this because Italians were approaching this office. Since you mentioned that in May they publish all the calls, now we are focusing on health, but also my colleagues would be interested in the other topics. It's important that you maybe let us know when are the calls out to
They are out.
because maybe you know that the Israeli are looking for partners. So this I'm asking. Let us know
Yeah.
when it's the time to be in touch. In my case, with
Now,
the Italians. Yeah, now, but if you didn't present the calls with the slides, I wouldn't know where to refer to.
we can send you the information where you can find those. It's in the
Okay.
funding internal portal, but we can send the information. And if you would come to the Horizon, the weekly webinar that we hold, then you can get all the details there. But it's the public domain. Just look at funding and tender, European
yeah.
Commission, and then you can see all the different calls.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
no,
it
this
is
this I could. So nowadays I could imagine that through the website, but it's big, it's huge,
Yeah.
it's not something that I would go and read every day. So if someone like you that is so professional, let us know and where to go exactly without wasting 2 hours before
So this is
coming.
exactly the cause that we're discussing. I mean, the cause that we're focusing on
Yeah,
now are specific calls that it's the creme de la creme of the calls in the health sector that would be relevant for Israeli entities to search for European partners for consortium.
Yeah.
But there are other fields as well that we can discuss offline if you'd like.
Now, just to say that before the calls are out, there's like there's the draft which is like sent when in November. So this is September, really. It's like really a lot of months before. That's where most of the consortia really knows the topics and start to assemble. In, let's say if we look at this next year, we'll be already well aware of that, and we can brief you already in January, where you can start to reach prior to the launch itself. This project was in short timelines. That's why we're doing it like this. And once we see this, project is successful, we can then expand it to other topics, not only health. Like we're responsible of the health, obviously, but other either ICER or the other communities. What I do think it may be interesting of Nati and Bachi to have maybe a kind of a like to set times when you decide to send the information to the trade officers prior, and like not really concerned whether we have a project like this or not, just for them to know and not need to come actively to you. So I think it's a good feedback on really helping them do this.
So Giovanna, if you have like an Italian partner that knows what they want and they're looking for Israeli partners, just reach out to me or to Batzion, and we'll direct them to the right relevant people in Israel, in ISER, that could help them find the relevant parties. So the institutions in Italy know what cause they're interested in. That's what I'm trying to say.
Also, if I might add, just like us, like ISERD, which is the Israeli Directorate for Horizon Europe program, there's different directorates or organization like that in all of Europe. Like, let's say I'm what is called NCP, National Contact Point. So I'm NCP for health. And just like me, there's NCP in Germany, Italy, Spain. So each state, each country has, like they know about Horizon, they're working very hard to collaborate and to find partners. And maybe this is also another approach that you can develop or you have to try and build connection with the institutes that are in charge on Horizon Europe programs in the country you have connections and relations with.
Okay, great, perfect. If there are any other further questions, we will send you again all information in emails. And again, not just saying, really, this is a platform for you and for all of us to make our work much more effective. And so really use everything we sent. Feel free to contact us, and thank you very much for joining. And that's it, right? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.